Hello and welcome to the Examiner Gamer Podcast. I am your host as always, Tristan, and I am joined by Shay.
Hey guys!
Today we are celebrating the 10th episode. We have made it into the double digits.
Woo-hoo!
Hooray! And yes, Shay, it is a magical, mega, super massive packed episode. I have a lot of new games to talk about. We have a lot of big news to talk about. Shay and I are crammed full of ideas with RPGs. So before he dies, let's just get right into it.
Let's do this.
Like everybody and their mother, I have been playing The Witcher Wild Hunt. Now, it used to be called The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and then the developers were like, you know what? No one on the PlayStation has ever played this, nor maybe anyone on Xbox. So let's just call it Witcher Wild Hunt. So let me backtrack a little bit. So the first game was with PC, then they made a second game, and then they ported that game with enhancements to the 360, and that's the version to kind of play. I wouldn't really recommend going back to the first game because it's kind of janky and kind of archaic. 2 is good. You got to get the enhanced edition for either the Mac or the Xbox 360.
I'll say Kara bought the Witcher 2.
It's good. It's really good. And so yeah, Witcher Wild Hunt. I'm sure you've heard this on a bunch of other podcasts and reviews and stuff like that, but it's really good. Let's get the bad things out of the way first. It's an open world game, so expect open world jank. You know, texture pop-ins, some weird glitches, maybe a freeze here and there. Very rare for me. It runs perfectly fine. It's just, maybe I'll see a guy sitting on top of a table. Literally, the animation for him sitting down, but him, floating above a table. That's a funny glitch. I also ran into a bucket in the middle of the air. That was funny. I punched that. I just kind of clipped through it. There was another glitch where there was I was trying to talk to this blacksmith, and there was a guy embedded inside of him, but he never, walked out of the other guy. It was weird. It was funny. So, that stuff I don't care about. The stuff that I do care about is, freezes and stuff like that. But, like I said, that's very rare for me. It's a gorgeous game. It's very bright and colorful. I guess one other thing I should complain about first, before I get into the good stuff, is controlling The Witcher is Have you played the latest Grand Theft Auto? I would say either 4 or 5.
I've played Saints Row.
No, Saints Row controls pretty well. So 4 and 5, you are kind of tanky. Not like a Resident Evil tank controls.
I have seen that. But your guy just moves kind of sluggishly.
Yeah,
a little bit.
You move the stick, and it takes kind of a second for him to really do it. And it'll go from, for The Witcher, it'll go from 0 to 100. And so when you try to stop, it's kind of this weird thing where we're kind of spinning around to talk to stuff. And I feel like the X button isn't that responsive. I'll go to a plant and hit X to collect it, and it doesn't whatever. You kind of get used to it, but it's huge, massive, huge world, gorgeous, so many colors, so many games like Skyrim and
or just dark.
Yeah, just super dark, and it's just but this one is so bright, watching sunsets, going underneath the ocean, just so many cool colors, lots of oranges and blues, really cool, great stories. This game has so many quests. It's kind of like any kind of open world RPG. It's kind of daunting, except that every single one kind of ties into a bunch of other ones, and they actually have meaning. It's not go here and kill these things. It's okay, I'll do that, but then it turns into some other kind of quest that has a more bit of a story to it, and on and on and on. But it's really good. I'll be writing a review sometime, but I'm kind of doing a bunch of things. A bunch of things like Massive Chalice. Now, this is another game from Double Fine. This was pretty much hot off the heels of their Broken Age Kickstarter. They decided to do this kind of weird tactical RPG, and I got access to that, and I played it for a long time. It was basically a 0.9 kind of thing, where it's this is pretty much the entire game. And so I was waiting and waiting for them to, release the 1.0 version. It's okay, you can review this now, or, and have some kind of good faith to it. Sometime last month, it's hey, we're out now, or coming out soon. And I was oh, finally. So yeah, then I updated it and it erased my save because technically it's a new version. So,
Uh-oh.
but I put it, I would say like 30 hours into the original game, and then
Ooh.
I put a good amount of almost about that time to the other one, and it's a little hard to explain. So imagine, if you will, Oregon Trail with a
Hmm.
fantasy trait that plays like XCOM and has you making babies like Fire Emblem.
I think when we had talked about this earlier, I thought it sounded a lot like Record of Agris War, only less strategy RPG and more.
Kind of, yeah, because, okay, let me break it down for you. So, there's this plague called the Cadence. They're gonna wipe everything out. There is a literal massive chalice that talks. One side is male, the other side is female. I don't know why. There's two different voices, whatever.
Okay.
They can destroy the Cadence, no problem. It's gonna take them a long, unspecified time to do this. This is like aeons for them to do this. So, basically you set up like this first brand of like a crew, this first like 5 members, like these 5 families, and they age appropriately. um
Hmm.
so you want to basically be like making keeps or making like these houses that make like you want to make these things that make making things better and faster. I can't remember what the houses are called. But if you have like a keep, you put like a king and a queen in there, and they produce babies. You put babies to appropriate age, and they get trained, and then they become the battle people. And you can also you can make new facilities. You can make new armors and gadgets for your team. You can make some kind of items. And so what you want to be doing is like the Oregon Trail kind of part of the game, where you have this map and you're kind of observing things. There's a time bar at the top of the screen. You click it, and time will go. It'll just like make a noise like, and then you'll see like a year passes, a year and 2 months, whatever. Every once in a while, it'll stop, just like Oregon Trail. Except you're not kind of you're not gonna fjord a river. It'll be like, oh, there's a riot breaking out because one of your soldiers did this. Like, what do you want to do? It's like, do you punish the soldier? Do you you need all the soldiers you can get, so pardon him or whatever, and whatever choice you choose will have some kind of positive or negative outlook. I believe I chose to pardon because I was like, I need all these soldiers, and then like basically I got a -1 to the cadence because like the rioters basically like stopped protecting like this border, so they let the cadence come through. So I was like, crap. So it's not about kind of like a civilization game. It's not about like making it to the end. It's kind of like doing your best run. Um,
Hmm.
so basically, so like the random text things will pop out every once in a while, and in the meantime, it'll take like, I want to make this new armor for my Caberjacks, which is a class. And it's like, oh, this will take 6 years. So you hit the time bar, and it'll just take that amount of time to make this armor, and then you move on to make another thing, or you can recruit soldiers in that time, or something like that. On to the battles, though. So every once in a while, you get a random battle. The cadence will be attacking from this area or this area. I can't remember exactly how many grids there are to the map. Let's say there's about a dozen. And if the cadence attacks that area 3 times, then that area is gone. You cannot save it. You cannot restore it. You
Oh
can't build
wow.
anything in there anymore. So let's say there's 12. So technically, you can lose 36 times, 35 times, something like that. Um,
Right.
so it'll give you a choice like this region or this region. You attack and win, then the cadence is cleared off. There's no negative effects. But the one that you didn't choose gets a -1 to that land, and there's no way to do both of them. So no matter what, you have to choose carefully because you don't want to keep on making this one area negative so that it
Right.
disappears completely. And then sometimes maybe it's like, oh, that far off one, I'm not going to build anything there anyway. It already has like a -1 or 2 to it before I even could get anything to it. So maybe I'll sacrifice it. But again, battles. So you can choose up to 5 people to go on the battle for you. There are 3 classes. There's the Caberjack. He's basically your frontline soldier. He has like a big log kind of thing. He will take the brunt of your damage. He's just melee. There's an alchemist that kind of has like a slingshot kind of thing, where it can like throw like alchemic fire or just like rocks and does like area damage. They can also do melee, but they're very weak to melee compared to like the caberjacks. And then of course we got the hunter, which is basically your like bow sniper, and they do not have any melee at all. They have to all be range. So you can take any number of these people, whoever that you have in your party, and it plays like XCOM basically. It's more of a, this is the area you can move in, so move in that area, and that's basically what this is. And then you can attack as well, and that's that. So okay, it's a very unique game. Again, very colorful, a lot of orange. Again, another game with a lot of orange, which the cadence is orange or whatever. So the cadence, these monsters, they have classes too. There's one where like if you kill it, it'll explode and then make like an acid. So if you step in the acid, it'll take negative damage. And obviously, if it explodes, you'll take exploding damage too. So you kind of want to make sure that you have like a ranged person defeat those things, so that the caberjack doesn't explode or whatever. There's also a ghost thing. I can't remember what it's called. It looks like a wraith, and basically it does damage to you, and it also takes years away from you. So it'll age you up faster, which will get me to a gripe. Beside it being like very challenging, just like XCOM, but you'll have 2 to 3 battles with these soldiers, depending on how young they were when you started, and then they'll die. And then if they father children or mother children, if they have children, they can pass some of those traits onward. Otherwise, every single time someone dies, you are restarting every single time. So if you make armor for somebody, it'll be for the entire class. It's not going to be like, well, that person died, so their armor's gone forever. It's like, no, it's basically you're buying upgrades for everybody. So at least that's nice. That's the only thing that carries over. It's just you can only do one thing at a time, and it just takes so long to get through all the stuff that it's just kind of like, oh, and I gotta start over with all these levels, and I had all these awesome like skills. It's like super hard to actually get those skills again because it takes so long to level them up, and you can only do like the random battles, which is basically at the end of like the era. So like I said, something takes 6 years. It'll be blah for a bunch of it. It'll be one battle, and then like the thing will be complete. Is how it seems to like work out. It's a good game. My review, I gave it a 3 out of 5. I basically said all my problems with it. It's a nice game to jump into. You're probably not going to finish it because it's super hard. Again, like Oregon Trail, But those that do finish it, it's rewarding. It really does feel rewarding. It's a very strategical, tactical game that you got to take your time with, and you kind of got to be like, you got to have patience. Basically, it's a very long game, but like PC people will love it. They'll love it. Yeah, I'm exhausted though. So yeah, so I've been playing a lot of games. I also have 2 other games that I can't quite talk about yet. So next episode I will do that. And yeah, let me take a quick break here, and then we'll get into the news. All right. All right, Shay, getting us closer to E3. So, of course, the news is piling on. So let's just jump right into the news. Okay, let's top it off with the biggest announcement of the week. That happened just today. Fallout 4, it's real.
Oh, yeah.
It's been rumored for a long time, and it was rumored to be in Boston years ago. It was rumored months ago that like it's really happening. Things like, oh, Guillermo del Toro's CG company worked on a trailer. It's like, oh yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. So it's just like rumor upon rumor, no screenshots or anything. Like they kept this tight-lipped. Just so you know, the last game that this team worked on was Skyrim, and that came out in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
So them keeping this secret, like relatively secret, it's kind of like you expect them to do Fallout since they did Fallout, then Skyrim. When they announced Fallout 3 at E3 of 2009, that was the first time, and then it came out that fall. I am willing to bet that this game will come out this fall, or at least within the year of them announcing it now. So maybe early 2016, if anything. But they've been working on this game for 4 years.
Wow.
If not more, because I'm sure there was a team doing it while they were doing Skyrim or whatever. So
Right.
you gotta imagine they've been doing it at least like 3-4 years, something around that range. And it's awesome. I want more game companies to do this. None of this like, this game is coming out sometime. Here's a look at it, and then you kind of forget about it, and it's like, oh yeah, that's game's coming out. And then you're like, hey, when's this game coming out? It's still coming out. I would rather know nothing about anything, have someone announce something, have it come out months later. Yeah, what are your feelings on it? Well, how do you like the trailer?
It was very, very. I love how they have just that retro look to everything. It looks like everything looks like it's like early to mid 50s, and just has that real like old timey music. Not
And
like super old, but
that's the bombs hit then, and then it also has the technology as if the technology back then that they theorized, like back in the 50s, they're
Right.
like the world of the future. That is the technology that they're running on in this post-apocalyptic world, which is great. So it's like a retro game, but it's also like in the year 2070 or something like that. So they're
Yeah.
still like using this weird stuff. So
uh,
I really like the world of Fallout. And
very, very excited.
let's get into another big news announcement. Two big games announced this week. XCOM 2. It was an IGN first, which kind of like Game Informer. For about a year now, IGN has had like this, like, oh, this is our first look, just like Game Informer. Their covers like this is the first look of the game. So this month it's XCOM 2. It's coming to the PC, Mac, and Linux this November. They say it's exclusive to PCs, but you gotta believe you and me that they're definitely gonna show off, console versions post this. Like, so we'll be getting like probably console ports sometime next year, I imagine, because it'd be dumb not to.
Right.
So it was just a CG trailer, and it looked pretty cool. Did you watch the trailer?
Yes, I did.
How about that snake Lian?
Oh man, so many strange things, and I guess I really should go and play the other one, huh?
It basically, it looks as if, to me, it looks as if the aliens have taken control, and now you're the XCOM unit trying to like take back America because like the aliens won. It's essentially what it seems like from the first game of like the rebooted series. It seems like the
Right.
aliens have won, and now you're just gonna be like, we're taking it back. And there's like weird snake alien, and then like the standard pink-ish one. It kind of looks very close to what they kind of look like in the other game. So yeah, awesome tactical combats. Again, another thing that's, you're not really much a story. You're kind of trying to build your unit and your characters and stuff like that. And it's just basically going throughout the strategy and trying to help the world. You should try it out. It's super hard, but you should give it a go and play a couple rounds and kind of see what it's all about. And it's really cool, but it's, man, is it hard. You think Fire Emblem's hard? Hell no. You will break things. Yeah.
I remember when you were writing your review for the original, and
Okay, let's get into the menagerie of Nintendo Directs. This past
Okay.
weekend, Nintendo was like, I think it was on Saturday, they're like, tomorrow we're going to have a Nintendo Direct in Japan. Nowhere else, we're not going to have anywhere. So they had the Japan one. I was like, oh, these things look cool. And then All of the Blue on Monday, not even announced it, just like, hey, we made an American one. It's called a Micro episode.
boom.
It's awesome because they decided to announce a lot of smaller, obscure games that
Yep.
no one's going to really care about during E3. So they're saving their big guns for E3. So this is like, let's get all the small stuff out of the way. Some, show a couple things, and we'll show some more at, their
The big
Nintendo
show.
Direct, the big show, yeah. That's not to say that some of these games aren't huge. First of all, Fire Emblem If, they only show this for the
The Japanese,
Japanese
one,
one.
right?
It was a long, I would say that's a 9-ish
It had
minutes.
Yeah, it had a pretty good chunk of the trailer. Or the
Yeah.
whole.
From what I read
direct.
from translations, they were talking about this castle mode, and you could like build stuff up, and that was
Yeah, it
kind of
looks
like,
like. Yeah, it looked like you could build your own city. You get your own castle town.
it seemed like it was a separate thing compared to the story. I'm not quite too sure about
Right.
that, but this is the first time you actually got to like run around an area, which was kind of cool. Cause
Yeah. It did go down to like a third-person view, and you could actually like look at how you constructed your city or how you set up things. You could even go and use shops that you put
I'm
into yourself.
I'm still pumped. This is like a samurai era kind of thing.
Yeah,
Going on from the set. That's so
and
crazy that it's taken this many games to like actually try something new like that.
it looks like it's taking a nod from Pokemon having the two separate versions.
I'm not happy about that, but
I'm not really either, but
but what I am happy about is they finally announced that Bravely Second is coming,
yeah,
and I think I made a prediction early in the year, not with their E3 stuff, but like, yeah, 2016. And I figured because the last game came out basically a year after the original release of the first
right.
one, so I think it'll be like a March, February kind of title. So that'll be great when that comes out. This next one, Little Battler's Experience. Now, I don't know if I've ever talked about this
Oh,
game with you.
LBX.
Yeah, this game it's called like gosh, it was for the PSP originally, and then this past year they made the Little Ballad, the cartoon show on Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon,
Yeah, it's on Nicktoons.
and out of nowhere, and then they still hadn't like released any of the games, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're repurposing that PSP game. They don't obviously say a PSP game, but yeah, it is exactly that PSP game because that's I saw those cutscenes basically. And it's basically like Pokemon, except you're making your own little robo, or of
Yeah.
course your favorite custom robo that you like to bring up every once in a while. You build this robot and you fight in like a little battle arena, and it's awesome. Like say what you will, I couldn't understand what was going on when I was like reading the text or whatever. It played so awesome. Like having these little arenas in like a living room or something like that, or in like an actual like, cardboard box arena was like so cool. Such a neat concept. God, I'd love an amiibo for that stuff. Oh my gosh, you can like build your own amiibo. That'd be cool. I just want the game itself. That one's coming out like August, I think, actually in America. I believe they announced a release date. Don't count me on that. This next one I know
Yeah.
for sure has a release date, and that is Chibi Robo Ziplash.
Oh man.
Now, did you play the original Chibi Robo on the
Uh,
GameCube?
the only Chibi Robo I ever played was the GameCube at a Target.
Awesome. Well, next story. No, so yeah, the first one was on the GameCube, and you're like this little robot for like you are a boy or a girl. I can't remember what it is, but
You're a robot. I don't think
no,
it.
I meant the
Oh, the owner.
yeah. I can't.
God, I don't remember. I just remember you had to do chores.
Anyway, he or she wanted this robot. The parents save up for this robot, and then you do like little chores around the house. You clean up spills like a little mini toothbrush. You're kind of exploring this world, and you're just doing like really random tasks. Super weird. It's definitely a game for bizarre bits. They came out with a DS game and a eShop game, and then kind of out of the blue, every once in a while they'll like make a new game, and then this one's like, hey, you're Chibi Robo, but you are a side scroller, and it looks awesome. It's like Castlevania. You have like a whip plug.
It does look like Castlevania.
You have a whip plug. That's so awesome.
And then you get power ups for it.
It's definitely, it's like, oh, it's going to be like one of those small $15 games or whatever. It's like, it'll be a huge thing, but I like that they're actually doing something different. And the amiibo looks really cute, too. So I am definitely interested with that. So I might be asking for a review copy on that one. So
That amiibo does look really cute. And that it upgrades itself as you're playing the game. It goes from wood to
Super Saiyan. It looks cool. This next one I have no interest in. Kind of. Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. I'm not really that much of a fan of dungeon crawlers.
no.
And
I'm not.
Pokemon
really...
is and Pokemon is like very roguelike light, and it's like super easy and super dumb. Though the concept is so crazy that I want to get into it. You are a human and you turn into a freaking Pokemon, and then you're like trapped in a Pokemon world. That's weird, and it's a cool concept, but like way too easy. And like,
I think they said in this one you can be one of any of the starters, and then the roster for this game is going to be literally every Pokemon in existence, plus legendaries and mythicals.
well, they said that the roster is about 20 or 30 for like party members, but then all the other Pokemon will be in the game.
All 740.
Something like that as like enemies or allies or people you can talk to or whatever. So that's I understand why they're not calling it like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red or whatever. This is like
Super Mystery Dungeon.
It's gonna be one game, and maybe they're actually gonna put their back into it and actually make it a good game. So
yeah,
it's a very middling.
Hopefully, crossing fingers.
Next is, I believe they showed this off at some random Nintendo Direct earlier this year, or maybe it was last year. Project Treasure, Bandai Namco. They showed the first trailer, and it looks. Go ahead.
Watching the English one, they just said go to this website, but then the Japanese Nintendo Direct actually showed you like gameplay and stuff.
The trailer is what they showed in the Japanese trailer, so it's weird that they
that was freaking awesome looking.
That's weird that they actually put that, like, hey, go watch the trailer. It's like, just put it in the Direct for crying out loud. It's digital. It's not live. It was really weird for them, like, hey, click this link. It's like, no. But yeah, this one was in the Japanese version only.
It looked very cool. Dungeon crawler, multiplayer.
It reminded me of, like, Resident Evil, like that Mercenaries game. But also, like, Tomb Raider, and you're, like, collecting treasure. Look cool. You could be like samurai. You got swords. You got that cool stuff. Like, whoa, radical, dude.
In my notes for that, I put fun pot. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it means. Yeah.
Let me dissect what you meant. Also, you do not know this because, well, I shouldn't assume that, but it's free to play. Did you know that?
What? No, I did not. That's cool.
I believe they announced this as free to play when they did it, and they didn't mention it in this thing. So I imagine it's like free to play. Maybe it's like you get one character or like one stage, and you gotta pay for more. So it's free to start or whatever they're calling it nowadays. Yeah. So that's interesting. Yoshi's Woolly World, they show more gameplay, and that they have like a million different patterns for their Yoshi.
Yeah.
Not much else to say about that. The Yoshi games, we've talked about this before, how they've mostly been bad. I hope this one is going to be great, because this game looks so cute, especially with like the Yarn Yoshi amiibo.
Yeah.
Holy crap. And last that I want to talk about is, I give 2 craps about Monster Hunter, but Monster Hunter Aru DX is made from Software, the people of Bloodborne and Dark Souls. Except it looks very colorful and like Patapon, kind of.
The whole trailer, I'm watching this. I'm like, this has to be Monster Hunter. It has to be Monster Hunter. And I just keep watching. I'm like, God, it looks different, though.
The cats are basically your companions in Monster Hunter. They basically, like, do stuff for you. They're basically your dog that can follow. It's like, I'm going to put all my stuff on you, basically. But now they have their own game. I just don't understand why From Software is making this game. Like I said, like, that's the only reason I'm interested. Also, like, the side-scrolling stuff looks like Patapon, where you have, like, 20 people and you're attacking one giant thing. It looks cute. So maybe I'll like this one. Let's segue kind of into another Nintendo thing. Let's go to our portion of the podcast that we always go to, and a little amiibo update. So, Way 4 just came out. I happened to get Ness from Earthbound, the girl squid from Splatoon, the Robin and Lucina from Fire Emblem Awakening. So I got those 4 amiibo that you probably are looking at right now. And
nice.
That's cool. I got those. Yeah, it was crazy. They were sold out in 5 minutes at my store. It was very weird.
Wow.
So that's not really that interesting. I got that stuff. Hooray for me. Two things about this launch. So let me pull up the story so I can get this straight. Did you hear about the heist?
What? No.
Oh boy. Okay. Setting. UK. Amiibo. You could get the Squid Girl or the Squid Boy, or you could get the 3-pack that we saw earlier, which has that little squid in the middle.
Right.
Remember that 3-pack? Mm-hmm. You can only get that if you pre-ordered it in London. So, as this truck full of all these pre-orders, the entire stock of that 3-pack was leaving the Nintendo European warehouse to a British chain called Game. Game is basically, there's GameStop, but it's all capital letters. It's just called Game. It was en route to Game, and it was attacked by some smugglers. And the entire shipment was stolen. Nobody, if anybody in the UK has any figures, like if they have that squid, the one in the middle that you can only get with the pre-order, they have bought that on the black market and or were part of this heist crew. There is no other way unless they import it from somewhere else, which is quite possible. But literally, no one in the UK can possibly have this in a meaningful way. The entire shipment gone, jacked. It was staged.
Man.
It's so crazy. This is how crazy people are about these amiibo things, and you know that they're trying to get some kind of pretty penny for it. So I don't know if they found, on the black market, people have found these people or what, but that's crazy. They're attacking trucks now. They're attacking our trucks. You think that's the craziest thing, Shay?
No.
That's right. Well, I think that was actually the lead. But here's something weird. Some counterfeit amiibo have started popping out in Brazil.
What?
Yes. So they have shown pictures of Pikachu. Pikachu looks pretty much spot on. So does Mario. Link looks like a grotesque, weird thing. Samus is kind of more lean back. And, yeah, it's just very weird. And, the box is in, like, Chinese or something like that. And, the new Skylanders was announced. Guess what, Shay?
What?
They're adding vehicles to this edition.
What?
Yay! Look it up. It's called Skylanders Superchargers.
Oh, no.
Is so dumb looking. Okay.
I haven't bought Skylanders since Giants.
I applaud them for starting this whole craze of the Toys to Life genre. Yeah. Amazing. Good job. You're breaking parents' wallets. I applaud them for that. Now that they're like kind of like antique now, they can't keep up. They don't have the branding that Disney does. They don't have the branding that Nintendo does. They can just get away with characters. Same thing with the Lego when the Legos come out. It's like, it's Legos. We also own all these properties too.
Yeah.
And what do they have? They have Spyro, who is not relevant, and they kind of got rid of him basically.
Yeah, he's not even really part of the game anymore. Now it's just really random freaking characters.
I will admit their characters are always kind of colorful. They're very interesting.
They're very,
but they don't have a they don't have that nostalgia built into them.
No.
Besides, like the kids that are buying Skylanders. But to add the last one, Trap Team, was weird because you had to buy a separate thing, and you
had to buy a shit ton of extra things just to have those traps.
To trap something to get a figure, which is weird. Now they're adding vehicles, which is strange because you can get vehicles in like Skylander or Disney Infinity, but it's in the game. Like you can like the playground, stuff like that. They must have seen some research with like the Lego or something because they have vehicles too that you build and stuff. I just of all the things to get into, I'm not saying that anybody copied anything else. I just think that they probably looked into like, what can we do? And for them to go to the trap and then go to like the vehicles, super weird for like an action light RPG. It's just I don't know how the cars are going to work, but that's your car PG. I don't know.
Car PG. You've coined a new phrase.
Honk honk. Let's move on from that because I don't care. I just could. I bought the magnet ones, the Swap Force.
Oh,
also,
did you?
Also a cool idea. It was like $20. I'm like, I'll get into the Skylanders thing, and so boring. It's so easy. I like the whole thing of the portal and stuff, but Disney Infinity is where it's at. In terms of Toys to Life, Disney Infinity is the best. Nintendo has the characters.
They gotta find a better way to incorporate amiibos into games.
They gotta make that game that I predicted, the big, huge game that all the things work in. It's an action RPG kind of thing, like Skylanders, but better.
But better.
Exactly. Next, so we have Rise of the Tomb Raider got its first trailer since last E3, and it was just a teaser. At the end, it's like, join us for the world exclusive review or world exclusive look at the Microsoft press conference. So they're not going to show it off at Square Enix. So I guess Microsoft is getting it. And the thing is weird because, I watched the trailer. I was like, oh, cool. I saw it on TV. I've seen it on TV multiple times. They're like advertising their press conferences on TV with Tomb Raider. And it's not a great commercial because it's just her talking, kind of more like some art assets, and then at the end you kind of see like 10 seconds of her like actually moving.
Yeah.
And it's like another teaser. Last year was a teaser, and this is another teaser. I don't like 2 teasers. You get 1 teaser, then you get a bunch of trailers.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. Hey everybody, it's your host the most, it's Tristan. Are you liking the show so far? I really hope you are. I can't stress this enough, I really want to hear feedback. So drop me a line on YouTube or on my Examiner page, anywhere you feel like it. Let me know what you like about the show, what you don't like, what you want to see added. And of course, if you want to support me, you can always subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as follow my writing on Examiner.com. That's EXAMINER, Examiner.com. It's the place to go for everything you want to know. Check it out. Now, back to the show. Alright, and then we get to game ideas.
Oh, right.
So, the 20th anniversary of the US release of Earthbound, aka Mother 2, was released on June 5th, 1995. So, Friday we'll be celebrating its 20th anniversary. It's a very quirky RPG.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, Shay, the two of us love RPGs.
Yes.
Let us make a weird, quirky RPG in honor of Earthbound's anniversary.
Yes.
Again, it's nothing to do with Earthbound at all. We're not making sequels to Earthbound, even though we want one.
Real bad.
This is just our ideas for RPGs. Since I've been talking a lot, I'll let you go first. I give the floor to you.
All right. So, the first... When I thought about other games that I had... kind of done some groundwork on. My original idea is Oregon Trails, Donner Party Blues.
Oh my god, this is about the Donner Party?
Oregon Trails, but you see it through... You are the Donner Party.
Oh my god.
And it's going to be an expansive world RPG, and you're in the caravan coming from...
So you die at the end?
Well...
Is that what happens? Timeline, paradox.
Uh-huh. I had thought maybe have some, like, Weird West... So like aliens, vampires, and the cover
the
up.
Weird West.
The cover up is that, you were just told that they were eaten, but Cthulhu twist.
Very weird. You told me before the podcast, like, I'm thinking about making like Oregon Trails, but like an RPG. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then your Donner Party.
All right. So my other one was a game that I got about halfway through building in RPG Maker, the original. I never came up with a title for this game. I just said that game about the farmer.
That's a great name.
It was about a meteorite hits, this farmer sees it, he ends up getting approached by 2 soldiers he used to be in the army with. They go on an adventure, one of them becomes a demon, one of them becomes a dragon. He falls in love with the moon's avatar. That was my original RPG that I worked on back in 7th or 8th grade.
Wasn't there like a vampire with a fishing pole?
Oh no, that was my Asthma Angels. That was Joe's character.
Oh, okay. I never saw this other one then.
Yeah, I did I have a lot of sketches for this actually. I worked a lot on this, and then one day I was like, I don't want to make this anymore. Let's work on a Final Fantasy fanfic. Alright, so my other one was redoing the Canterbury Tales as an RPG. Only the twist was, at the end, you go through all the separate adventures with all the different characters from the epic, and at the end, you fight Chaucer as the final boss.
There really hasn't been that many books made into a game. I didn't mention before, but to those that don't know, The Witcher is a series of novels in Poland.
Oh, that is very cool. I did not know that.
I like the idea of basing stuff on novels that no one's made into a show or a movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Although there is a movie and a show in Poland. It's old or whatever. But you know what you know what I mean.
For Canterbury Tales, strictly SNES style.
Make them all girls, and you can date all. All the girls, you can date them.
I did have an idea for a dating sim game. You were a wizard, and
Harry.
You end up meeting a girl that was part bunny. Because you start falling in love with her, she gets kidnapped. You have to go into this parallel universe where you have the ability to make a black hole into a sword.
The black hole lightsaber.
Ironically enough, I developed that with Tyler.
Okay, well, that was a good round of ideas, Shay.
Thank you.
So my idea is to make a cross between Red Dead Redemption and Fallout 3. So, I mean, that
Okay.
game is in a post-apocalyptic world where it's basically the spanning of, well, I guess it would be closer to New Vegas, where it's like a big desert. So my idea is you are like this nameless character that you create. You're this nameless cowboy, and it just takes place in that era, and you're just kind of going across the, I wouldn't say the whole United States, but like a good portion of it. And I wouldn't say it's like Oregon Trail. It's just you are trying to make your way toward an end goal, toward like maybe a city or something like that. But you're kind of doing stuff in smaller cities along the way, and you're just helping random people. And you know, it's like a first-person RPG where you have a gun, and you know you kill people, you get experience points, stuff like that. Another idea I've had is I like shows like Fringe and X Files. What if they made an RPG that is episodic? It's kind of like a procedural where you know, let's say you got like someone like a Skulder and Mully.
Mulder and Scully.
That's what it is. I knew it sounded weird. Scully and Mulder, or
Yes.
Smolder and Moldy. They're in an office. They work for the FBI, and they get called out to do random investigations for like paranormal stuff. And then it's turn-based RPG. You go out there, you kind of investigate stuff in like the open, and then you know you're kind of investigating stuff, and you get into random battles like, oh, this episode is all about aliens, or this episode is all about vampires, so you're fighting vampire enemies. This episode is all about like gnomes or something, so you're fighting like things, or like you know this one's about like zombie animals. So it's all its own contained thing, but then it's working towards like maybe like an end goal, not like an end of the world kind of thing. It's like what's really going on here? But like this could be like one game that you buy itself, or this could be like an episodic thing like Telltale, where it's like, oh, yep, this is literally an episode where you play it and your stats will carry over or whatever. So I thought about what if there was like a rock RPG where they have a fossil RPG. Why don't they have a rock RPG where rocks are alive? So you're trying to find these crystal or quartz or amethyst Pokemon things, and you're a geologist and you're making your rocks battle. Doesn't that sound fun?
Battle boulders.
You are literally just smashing rocks against each other. Just like they're non-inanimate. You're just like, my quartz will kill you. Like, no, I have a diamond. And then, you know, diamond destroys. So, yeah. Same thing, another Pokemon idea that's kind of more of a joke, where people always say that, you know, STDs, you gotta catch them all. But what if there was like an RPG where you're trying to get all the STDs, but not STDs, like funny STDs, but they stand for something else, not sexual transmitted disease, but more of a something else. But you know, and then I always like the idea of more crossover RPGs. Like we talked about this, I know this might be like one of the game idea prototype episodes where we talked about something. I swear we talked about some kind of Kingdom Hearts style universe, but taking some other company like Sony.
Yeah.
What if Sony made a thing and then they got the rights to like Hanna-Barbera, and it's like Sony characters with Hanna-Barbera characters?
I know we've had the Nintendo conversation where just taking all the Nintendo properties and smushing them into one game.
One big RPG, yeah. I just love crossovers if they're done right, and I think the only really great one, besides fighting games, because that's you know, fighting games are fighting games or whatever, but like the only great crossover game is, I would say, really Kingdom Hearts or whatever. So
yeah,
but yeah, that's about it. And that was our very special episode of Examiner Gamer Podcast, episode 10. I recovered from my thing. So, yeah, thank you, Shay, for joining me. Of course, I want to plug my stuff as usual. You can find my writing stuff over on Examiner. Coming soon next week, I'll have a review up for a mystery game. And I'll probably put up one for Witcher 2, maybe coming soon. Next week, though, I want to plug a series I will be doing because Jurassic World is launching next Friday.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to be doing some dinosaur games. I'm going to do a Bizarre Bits on some very weird dinosaur games. Shay, this is the first you're hearing about this, but you hopefully we'll have time to do that.
Like Dino Crisis?
No, I'm talking
Probably
weird.
shouldn't be asking questions.
I'm talking weird. Yeah, keep it a surprise. I'm also doing an episode all on Capcom dinosaur games.
Oh.
And that's where you can say like Dino Crisis.
Dino Crisis!
So look forward to that next week. Hopefully all those 3 things will be coming out in a timely manner sometime next week, along with probably some E3 stuff and some reviews. And yeah, you can find me, of course. I am at JediWeedPenny on Twitter. I have my links here. There's obviously all my videos on YouTube. Watch me and Shay and Lauren and Brian and Matilda. Find me and Matilda do our sex stuff on I can't think of a porn name because I said sex stuff, but I'm talking about my sex comedy podcast, Mobst. Hopefully we'll be doing some more new episodes soon, I promise.
Oh yeah.
And whatever. Yeah, do you have anything that you want to talk about, Shay?
Is there a Cadillacs and Dinosaurs game?
Yes.
What? Oh man. Oh.
Boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom.